The Lord be with you, and with your spirit. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Glory to you, O Lord. At that time, Jesus left Samaria for Galilee. For Jesus himself testified that a prophet has no honor in his native place. When he came into Galilee, the Galileans welcomed him, since they had seen all he had done in Jerusalem at the feast, for they themselves had gone to the feast. Then he returned to Cana in Galilee, where he had made the water wine. Now there was a royal official whose son was ill in Capernaum. When he heard that Jesus had arrived in Galilee from Judea, he went to him and asked him to come down and heal his son, who was near death. Jesus said to him, "Unless you people see signs and wonders, you will not believe." The royal official said to him, "Sir, come down before my child dies." Jesus said to him, "You may go, your son will live." The man believed what Jesus said to him and left. While the man was on his way back, his slaves met him and told him that his boy would live. He asked them when he began to recover. They told him, "The fever left him yesterday, about 1 in the afternoon." The father realized that just at that time Jesus had said to him, "Your son will live." And he and his whole household came to believe. Now this was the second sign Jesus did when he came to Galilee from Judea. Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. And so we continue in this journey of Lent, that in one part it is to walk towards happiness, because to convert, to leave sin, to believe in the gospel brings us happiness. But on another part, it's a difficult time, because to convert, to leave sin, and to believe in the gospel is not easy. And so how important it is to know that in this journey, which by the way is not only during Lent, during Advent, it's every day of our lives, every moment of our lives, we are called to conversion, to leave sin, to believe in the gospel. But how important it is to know that in the necessary process, that it's nothing else than to seek happiness, to seek happiness. The more we draw close to the Lord, the more we leave the things that are bad for us, we leave those behind. And so the happier and freer we are. And so how important it is to know that in this difficult process, we are not alone. We are not alone. We have the Lord who wants that happiness for us. We want the Lord who wants that conversion for us. That through grace, and very especially the grace of the sacraments, well, they love us. They want us to know that we're not alone. And that first reading, the prophet Isaiah, full of hope. It is the Lord who does it, the Lord who acts. Look, I will transform Jerusalem in joy, and his people in joy. I rejoice in Jerusalem, and I rejoice in her people. And we will no longer hear from her moans and cries. full of hope, full of life, these words we just have heard. But also conscious that it's not easy. The process of conversion is not easy, and we see the gospel. The gospel today comes with a great need in his life. And he draws close to Jesus, and Jesus tests him. And that he puts him to the test. And he says, you're only looking for signs and wonders. And however, man does not believe, even with that challenge that the Lord leaves him. And this father insists for the life, for the well-being and the health of his son. And Jesus blesses enormously that faith. Without having to accompany him, to go there personally, attend his son, he says, your son has been healed. And so we see the importance of faith, the importance of knowing that the Lord is always ready to attend to our needs, to heal our wounds, to bring us to this process of conversion. But there's something very important. And here we're speaking about faith. And we're saying that to believe in Jesus, that Jesus is God. Like this man who knew that from this mantle. And that's an important step. To know that Jesus is God, that for God everything is possible. That God is the owner of everything in our lives and the entire universe. But there's another very important dimension, and that is to believe. And that's the faith we have to ask. We have to ask God in a very special way. That faith that this father had in the goodness of Jesus, not only that he knew that Jesus had healed many people, had done works, but this man had faith in the goodness and desire of Jesus to heal his son. And the Lord challenges them. And there man does not stop. He continues placing his trust in the goodness of the Lord. That's something very important, dear sisters. That's a faith we have to ask in a special way. Because it's not only to believe that God is God and that God created the universe and that God is the owner of everything. And yes, he helps. He helps, and all that is true. But it goes beyond that. Believe in that God who created everything, who is omnipotent, that he is attentive to my needs, that he loves me, that whichever need, whatever circumstance comes in my life that I present, the Lord will be attentive to my need. That love of Jesus for each one of us. And he was saying it yesterday in the Mass, because we have the image of the cross. Jesus compares the serpent that is placed on the stick, and all those that had been touched by the serpent and saw that image would be healed. And so in the same way, when we see the cross of Christ, we are healed. But how important in that process to know that Jesus, yes, and we can believe him, he died. But to believe that Jesus died on that cross for me, for each one of us, to do that infinite goodness of God. And to believe, for example, and this is a grace, but if the Lord had to climb on that cross again to save me, He saved the entire world. If the Lord has asked me to climb up again that cross to save me, He would do it. So that's that great mystery of salvation. That love, that goodness, the mercy, the fact that Jesus is attentive to our needs, and how important this is, my dear brothers and sisters. This is a grace we have to ask the Lord. It goes beyond that faith. That God exists, yes. But He exists for me, and He loves me, and He's attentive to me to make that distinction. And so let's ask in this process of conversion to know every day more that love of God for each one of us. That Jesus, who is of non-necessary needs of the world, it's little old me, and each one of us, of course, that it may be so.